Hi, I'm Kate. Welcome to Blooms in the Yard. In today's video, I'm planting a lot of the annuals I've been growing inside under grow lights out into my garden, including some varieties of Snapdragons, some Foxgloves, Dara, and Bachelor's buttons. I'm also going to be building a structure to support my Snapdragons and Bachelor's buttons here in my mailbox garden. And we're going to take a look at how beautiful the mailbox garden is looking right now. Today's video is all about planting out a bunch of seedlings that I have grown inside under grow lights for the last few weeks or months. And I'm finally getting them out in the garden. I'm excited to get them in the ground where hopefully the rain will water them and not me. Lots that I'm getting planted. All of these plants are things that can take a little bit of frost, so most of them would be considered cool season crops, or at least something that, isn't going to die with a frost. So they'll be just fine with the 40-degree nights that we have coming up soon. Right here I am planting the Cherry Twist Snapdragons, which will get 20 to 24 inches tall. They are an annual here, but they are a perennial in zone 7. So that kind of right there gives me a clue that they can take a little bit of freeze if they've been hardened off first. So everything that I'm planting out in this video, I've spent 2 weeks hardening off, and then they've been outside 24/7 for the following 2 weeks. So they're definitely ready to be outside. I'm not even thinking about them anymore unless it would get to be below 30 degrees. So I feel totally fine with these getting outside. And all of the different kinds of Snapdragons I've grown from seed, I've been able to put out, and they've been okay through a freeze. This is a shorter type than I've grown before, so I'm hoping that it will look good here in my rock garden. I call this the rock garden. There's one big boulder in the middle of it, and it is in the corner between my driveway and the sidewalk to my front door. So it's walked by a lot. So I do like to put some annuals in there to have a lot of color all through the season. I always feel like I'm gonna blast these brand new seedlings trying to water them with the hose. So I do kind of go in there really carefully and just try to get the roots. But you definitely want to give them a good soaking and make sure that they're watered in well when they're first getting established. The way that I plant my annuals, it might be easier to just kind of till up the whole area with compost, but I dig up the spot for the annual, and then I put it in my little bucket and I throw in a good handful of compost and I mix it together. And mostly this makes the texture more workable because I have that clay soil. And then I just refill the hole with this compost and soil mix. So just on the other side of my rock garden, I am planting the Apple Blossom Potomac Snapdragons. They will be a little bit taller at 32 to 48 inches tall, and they're white with some pink accent on them. These are a group 3-4, so that means that they're more for warm weather. The Cherry Twist said it was group 2-3. So Snapdragons are sort of put into groups of 1 through 4, and I kind of look at it as like 1 likes to grow in the coldest temperatures, 4 liking to grow in the warmer temperatures, or I would probably say more tolerant of warmer temperatures. So somewhere like Kansas where it's really hot in the summer, the groups 1 and 2 are going to really struggle with our warm temperatures in the summer. And you would have to grow groups 1 and 2 in the spring. And honestly, lately our springs are so unpredictable, and like this spring we've had lots of weather in the 80s. So I feel like it's safest for me where I live to go with the groups 3 and 4. The Cherry Twist seeds were given to me, and I honestly didn't even look up the group number until I was making this video. So we'll see how they do. Now in this area where my bird bath normally is, it's not out quite yet, I am adding in my Foxgloves. So I did the Camelot Rose Foxglove for the first time this year. They are supposed to bloom the first year, and they should get 36 to 48 inches tall. Okay, so today I planted the cherry twist snapdragons here. I should say that I didn't plan ahead any of my seedlings where they would go. I might have had a vague idea of where I would want to put them, but even when I do have some idea, I usually don't actually do what my plan was. So these will be the cherry twist, and of course the grape hyacinths will be gone, so it will just be those, and then the 3 foxglove beard tongue. Then back here I planted all of my apple blossom snapdragons, Potomac apple blossom. I ended up with 11 of those, and to see like the apple blossom color and the cherry twist, like they might look awful together. So I really don't plan, but then again, maybe they'll end up looking okay together. I don't know. As long as there's like some purple somewhere to offset all of these random red and pink colors. The other thing that I planted today was my foxglove. Now, if you guys remember, the foxglove was the seed that I struggled with the most to get it going. But I did end up with 7 plants. This is the Camelot Rose. So it is supposed to maybe bloom this year. The one that I grew last year, it was some sort of just pink mix. It was 2 years in the making, so it bloomed last year, but I'd planted it the year before, and so I'm hoping that these will bloom this year for me, but we will see. Today I am making a homemade support for my Snapdragons and Bachelor's buttons in my mailbox garden. It's going to be similar to like a peony support that would be made out of sticks. So you can kind of picture that. I've had my eye out for some nice, straight, kind of smooth, just decent looking sticks. I was lucky enough yesterday to be volunteering in a garden, and there was a big 6 foot around vitex shrub that was needing to be cut all the way to the ground. And it didn't even occur to me at first. I was about halfway through cutting it when I was like, these are exactly the sticks I've been looking for. And so I asked them if I could take them home, and you know, they were like, of course, you know, we don't need those. We were just going to take them to the brush pile. So I was able to get lots of great sticks to do this with. This is a brand new project for me, something I've never tried anything like this before. And so we'll see how it turns out. I'm just going to tie everything together with twine. At first I was pretty slow, and I feel like it definitely kind of took me a while to figure out how I wanted to do the knots. I had seen some fancy knots on Pinterest, but in the end it's like I just kind of figured out my own thing where I would bring them around and then cross them on the outside, bring them around and cross them on the inside. So I finally did like get in a groove and get faster about it. Once I had built a hexagon around the outside, then I went ahead and basically did a tic-tac-toe pattern through the middle to give some spaces for these snapdragons to grow up into and be held up. Once I had attached all of these inside pieces at the edges, I did go ahead and reinforce the whole thing to make it stronger by tying the spots in the middle where they crossed together. So here is the finished product. Just realized I need to trim that one a little bit, but overall I'm really happy with how this turned out. I don't think I trimmed this one either. From this angle, I really like the look of it, which is the angle that I was creating it from. You know, overall, I think it turned out pretty good. However, a couple things I would do differently next time. When I step back, so this is a raised up area. It's probably 18 inches to 2 feet taller than where I am standing on the street level right now. And so I feel like, and it's kind of tall, so I'm not sure I love it from this angle. You know, if I was looking down on it right here, it would just, I think I would like it better. So I'm not sure that it's maybe a little too tall. We'll see. I might have just made it too tall for the Snapdragons as well. Maybe should have been more like 2 feet, and it's probably about 2.5 feet. Lesson learned. It did take quite a bit of time too. So just FYI, kind of time consuming, but a fun project to try. So now it is time for me to plant my Potomac Royal Snapdragons and my Bachelor's buttons. The Potomac Royal Snapdragons are, I would say, my most successful Snapdragon every year. I love the color. I've been growing them for several years. They are the most robust of all of the Snapdragons that I have grown, and so I put them in the mailbox garden last year, but they were flopping quite a bit and just needed a structure. And I did put them with the Bachelor's buttons last year too, and I thought that they complemented each other really well. Since I planted these, I have added in the Dara over here, which I winter sowed, and I have done the mulch. So it's looking pretty good, this mailbox garden right now. Of course, the main reason it looks so good is the tulips, the creeping phlox, and this smokebush. And of course, the fresh mulch really helps. I have all kinds of things planted in between these tulips to fill in when they are done. One of the things that I have planted in amongst these beautiful blue spectacle tulips is the verbascum. It's a Rosetta verbascum. I grew it in with a winter sowing method, and I was told just they're going to be growing so close together that you can just kind of take a little chunk and don't try to separate them, but just put a little chunk in there. So this is several plants, and they said that would work out. I'm a little skeptical of that, but that is what I went ahead and did. So I think I have maybe 5 little spots of the verbascum over here. And then I also put a couple spots over here. This area, the soil was a little bit of a problem with some of my annual salvia last year. So this was kind of an experiment to see if the verbascum would do okay here. I did also add in a couple of annual salvia, the Sirius Blue salvia, which I also grew from seed. So I added in one right there and one right there, and then one all the way over there. I think, let's see, also one there. So I guess I added 4 and 5. I do really love this dark red maroon foliage with the purple and the blue spectacle tulips. This is a red penstemon, probably the Husker red, possibly the dark towers. I've kind of got both going, and I've moved them around a bit. Still working on the mulch, as you can see, that big mulch pile in the background. And then the other thing that I think makes this area look really good right now is the beautiful Opulus viburnum. But these Snapdragons and Bachelor's buttons are going to be stars when they come into their own. Here we are just a few days later, and one of the cherry twist Snapdragons is just about to start blooming.